guys, welcome back to my channel. This is another book video because I've been reading a lot and I realized that we're pretty far into summer now and I haven't really done like a summer book video. So these are the books I'm reading this summer. Some of them I've already read, some of them are on my to be read. I'm just really loving the summer vibes. I'm going to start with this book, and I didn't think I'd love this. This is The Honeymooners by Christina. I've never read a Christina book, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I usually don't like typical kind of cheesy romances. I wouldn't say this is that cringe or anything, but I don't know, I was expecting something a lot more cringe because it says the honeymoon of a lifetime with her sworn enemy. Basically, a bridesmaid and a best man end up having to go on the honeymoon because the bride and groom get sick, and they're the only people at the wedding that don't get sick. So they're expecting to have a horrible time together. They don't like each other, but they do it just to please bride and groom because I think they couldn't get a refund or something. I loved both the characters. I really liked them. The girl in this book is really relatable. Yeah, so Olive and Ethan don't like each other. They've just had a few run-ins. It's really awkward between them. Olive is the bride's sister and Ethan is the groom's brother. So they have had to meet each other a few times before this wedding. They just don't get along. There's a lot of tension between them, but I think it's a different kind of tension. I think they were expecting to hate each other when that's not the truth. They're obviously both attracted to each other, but it just wasn't working. Yeah, this honeymoon's very interesting. I think you can kind of guess where it goes. It gets really funny because they pretend to some people that they are married. Olive is Amy, the bride's twin sister, so she pretends to be her. And then because obviously the best man has the same last name as the groom, they just pretend that they're married. And that's obviously very funny. I just really liked it. I really liked the characters. And I was expecting the storyline to be super predictable because I don't know, this is kind of oh, so they go on a honeymoon, then they end up falling in love. But it's not. It's a bit deeper than that. You find out a lot more. There's a lot of drama. And then when they come home, a lot of stuff happens. It's really good. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I definitely read this. I would say it's very summer vibes because they go on a holiday, the palm trees. Beautiful cover. I really liked it. I really enjoyed. I would actually give this probably 4.5, maybe 5 stars. I really enjoyed. And then this is a book I haven't read yet, but I'm super excited to read. This arrived when I was away on holiday, so I'm excited to read it on my next trip. This is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. And I'll read you the blurb because I actually haven't read this yet. I've seen this hyped about loads by Hayley Pham. Her channel, Hayley Pham Vlogs, is just full of reading videos, loads of book recommendations. I would definitely check her out. And she loves this book. She said it's a beach house read, really summery, really good. So the blurb is, it's all fun and games until someone loses their heart. When Meredith Fox lost her sister. I did know this, that it's a lot about grief. And this is her first summer away since losing her sister. So that's an interesting subplot. Claire, 18 months ago, she shut everyone out, but this summer she's determined to join the world again. The annual family vacation to Martha's Vineyard. I went to Martha's Vineyard 3 years ago and it is the most beautiful place ever. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. We went just as a day trip when we were in Boston. So beautiful. So when you can picture the place and it's super summery vibes. So I really like that it's set there. The annual family vacation to Martha's Vineyard seems like the perfect place to reconnect. Her entire extended family is gathering for a big summer wedding. And although Meredith is dateless after being unexpectedly dumped, she's excited to participate in the traditional Fox family game of Assassin that will take place during the week of wedding festivities. Claire always loved the game and Meredith is determined to honour her legacy. I think this is interesting because there's a game of Assassin going on. It's obviously some sort of family tradition. And I feel that's not something that's in every summer romance book. Do you know what I mean? This is quite different. But when Meredith forms an alliance with a cute groomsman, she finds herself getting distracted. Meredith tries to focus on the game and win it for her sister, but she can't help falling for him. And as the week progresses, she realises she's not only at risk of losing the game, but also her heart. interesting. So I like that they've like formed an alliance. That's how they've like met. I find that really interesting. I'm really excited to read this. I don't think it'll be like something I've read before. I've never read a book set in Martha's Vineyard. I don't think I've read many books with someone who's lost a sister. I've never read a book about a game of assassin. I don't even know what assassin is. I'm really hoping they explain it in this book. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this and I hope I enjoy it. I will review if I like it. I will let you know in a different video. This book, oh, why did I not get onto Emily Henry sooner? I think it was last summer that Emily Henry's books really blew up. They were all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything. And the American version is People We Meet on Vacation, but the British is You and Me on Vacation. I wasn't expecting to love this book as much as I did, because every video I watched that was reviewing Emily Henry's books said that beach read was the one they preferred. But I read You and Me on Vacation first, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Possibly one of my favourite books. I underlined so much. Like, so much. I forget every reason I was trying to put this off. Let's see what else I've underlined. Even at her age, she asked questions in conversation like she didn't already have all the answers. Do you love him? Do you love him like you love Alex? I don't think I'll ever love anyone the way I love Alex. Like, it's just so good. Oh, it's actually unreal. For the first time in my life, the airport strikes me as the loneliest place in the world. I loved this book. I literally devoured it. I read this when I was on holiday and it was a perfect holiday book, so it's definitely a good summer read. They're constantly going on holiday, so basically I can properly review this one because I love this book with my whole heart. This is about two friends, Alex and Poppy. I even love the names, like Poppy, that's such a lovely name. Now if I have a kid I want to name them Poppy now, just because I love this character. And Alex and Poppy are both so relatable. They have their little quirks. Like, it's not a typical romance at all. When they first meet, they don't seem like they'd get on. He's quite like standoffish, but I think it's because he's quite introverted, quite awkward in like social situations, where she's like super bubbly and bright, and she's just adorable. And like even like from their clothes, like he's very like white t-shirt, like khakis, and she's like wearing all these like 70s prints, like really out there with her style. She ends up becoming a blogger, like, you know the vibe. Whereas he's quite like quiet and like, I don't know, I feel like he like his personality really comes out when he's with her. It's so sweet. So anyway, they end up realizing that they're both in the same hometown. They meet at university and they realize that they live in the same place, so they ride share back home, and on that ride they start speaking, and then they meet up a few times after that. And then she's like going on these trips because she like wants to become like a travel blogger, and she has a blog that she's writing about, but it completely blows up in like the years to come because this is spanned across like 7 summers or something like that. It's like 10 summer trips. So this book spans 10 years, but at the start she just has this little blog, and he goes on the first summer trip with her. And it starts like super like budget friendly, to then when she gets into an agency the trips are hugely extravagant. And yeah, like that becomes their tradition. They do it every single summer, and like when they get jobs in different states and stuff like that's their time that they spend together. Like as the book goes on, they aren't really that close anymore. They only really use this summer trip to see each other, but something happens on their last summer trip, and it references throughout the book this Croatia trip that something happened, and you don't find out what happens until like, I don't know, like 3/4 in or something. But they end up going on another trip after this disaster trip. I think they didn't speak for 2 years. None of this is spoilers, by the way. We find this out quite early. And then they go on another trip. Poppy asks him to go, and he says yeah. And then you kind of see what happens, and it just gets so good. And like even all the earlier trips, like there's, I don't know, I feel like it's hinting to things. Oh, beautiful, a beautiful book. I really enjoyed it. I loved the ending. I loved absolutely everything about it, to be honest. I just loved it. I loved how like, I don't know, they spoke about so many like different topics, but it's all entwined in this really cute romance. It's actually so sweet. Oh no, they met 12 summers ago. Okay, I'll read you the blurb. So 12 summers ago, Poppy and Alex meet, they hate each other and are pretty confident they'll never speak again. This is what I mean, like they didn't think they were like compatible as friends, as anything else. Like they didn't think that they would speak. 11 summers ago, they're forced to share a ride home from college, and by the end of it, a pact is formed every year on vacation together. 10 summers ago, Alex discovers his fear of flying. Poppy holds his hand the whole way. They're actually adorable. 7 summers ago, they get far too drunk and narrowly avoid getting matching tattoos in New Orleans. 2 summers ago, it all goes wrong. This summer, Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realise they're not just friends after all? I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but you gotta read this. Like, any book I've read, like, you need to read this. I really loved it. And like, I was so invested. It got to the point that I read this one night before we went out. Like, I came back from the pool and sat in my bed and read it. And it got really sad. And I was like, I don't want to go out anymore. I was in like such a sad mood. Like, I could have just kept reading and got to the happy bit, but it was so good. I recommended this to everybody on that trip. I was telling to read this when my friends were reading it. You gotta read it. It's so good. Like 5 out of 5. No question about it. And then beach read. I'm reading this on my next trip. I like saving books for trips. It's like kind of weird. Like, I had the Spanish love Dissection. I saved it to read until I was in Spain. I don't know if that's weird or not. I don't really care. But yeah, I definitely want to read this near a beach. So the synopsis for this is: January is a hopeless romantic who narrates her life like she's the lead in a blockbuster movie. Gus is a serious literary type who thinks true love is a fairy tale. I love that they're called January and Gus. I really like the names that Emily Henry chooses, because last time it was Poppy and Alex, January and Gus. That's quite sweet. But January and Gus have more in common than you think. They're both broke, they have crippling writer's block, and they need to write bestsellers before summer ends. The result, a bet to swap genres and see who gets published first. The risk, in telling each other's stories, their worlds might be changed entirely. Interesting. I love it when there's like authors in books, or like people that love books in books. I don't know, I really like that. So that's definitely a plot I think I'll enjoy. 2 writers, 1 holiday, a rom-com waiting to happen. So it's set on a holiday, lovely summer vibes. I feel like I'm going to enjoy this. Everybody likes it. Literally everybody. Everyone that's read it. Like, I've seen Hayley Pham, she likes it. I think Destiny Sidwell, she's another great book YouTuber. I could have sworn she recommended this. So many people love Emily Henry's books, and I'm sure I will too. I'm really excited to read this, especially after reading You and Me on Vacation and everyone saying that this is the better one. Like, I don't know how we can top You and Me on Vacation, but I'm sure she's found a way. I think she's also just published a new book, Book Lovers, which I think again is about people who love books. So I have a feeling I'll enjoy this. Oh my god, I forgot to mention, Alex in You and Me on Vacation loves reading. I think that just made me love him more. It was always saying that he was like introverted and like we'd rather be reading than be at a bar, and I was like, the way to my heart. Sorry if the angles just changed. I did just have to go answer my doorbell 3 times in a row. Don't know where all these packages are coming from. It's even worse because none of them are for me. I could live with it if it was my book parcel that I'm waiting for. I'm really excited. I did just do a huge book order. My next book is The Spanish Love Dissection by Elena Armas. Another one that's been super popular for ages and I just haven't read. I was saving it to read it in Spain. I did. I loved it. I really liked it. I'm always a little bit skeptical with like enemies to lovers kind of books, because I've read The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy and The Hating Game. Both those books were super popular and I thought I'd like them, but I just found it a bit too obvious. I don't know, I kind of struggled. Like, it was almost too obvious that they weren't really enemies. This book's kind of similar. I feel like the guy character in this book, it's quite obvious that he doesn't actually hate her. I don't know, I feel like it's quite obvious that he like loves her from the start. But I think that was the purpose. I feel like the author kind of knew that when they were writing it, and I feel like they're not trying to pretend. Whereas I feel like the hatred on the side of the girl character in this book, what's she called again? Catalina. Yeah, she has a really cool name. I think she's Spanish. And then the guy's called Aaron. So I feel like she genuinely hates Aaron. Like, there's been some like incidents. It's like a workplace romance as well. There's been like some incidents at work and like she feels like he doesn't like respect her. Whereas he's seeing it from a different point of view. Like, he was like behaving in that way because of like his attraction towards her. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the typical like enemies to lovers romance at all. Actually, I feel like the fact that like it's obvious the guy likes the girl from the start makes it quite unique. I really liked it. I really liked the part that's like set in Spain when they go to her sister's wedding. I just really liked the book, and I feel like perfect summer read. It's really chill. It's like based between New York and Spain, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, I really liked it. So that is all of my current summer reads, what I'm reading, what I've read. I'm feeling really like enthusiastic about the summer reads. I'm really loving it. I have been reading like some mysteries and stuff in between, not all just like super chill summer. All the summer books tend to be romances, don't they? I don't know, at least the ones I've been reading. I have read a few non-fictions that are really good. I read Atomic Habits. Let me see, this is my non-fiction section of my bookcase. So I read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It was really good. I would say it's quite like dense. I wouldn't say it's like a super light read, but I did read this on holiday. I really liked it. Tiny changes, remarkable results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. I would say it does tell you ways to make good habits and break bad ones. That's what it says. I really liked it. I would say maybe like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know, I feel like because I don't like gravitate towards non-fictions, I read them because I feel like it's good to be learning. I find that a bit more difficult to read than like a fiction. So they do tend to rank lower, but some ones that rank 5 stars would be Happy Sexy Millionaire. I think I've spoken about this before, but I love this book by Stephen Bartlett. He is a CEO. He has Diary of a CEO. It's like my favourite podcast. I listen to it constantly. And yeah, I follow him on Instagram. He seems like a really cool guy. The like subtitle to this is Unexpected Truths About Fulfillment, Love and Success. And I feel like he's always posting about stuff like that. I feel like he's really on a journey to find happiness, and he shares that in this book. Yeah, I would definitely read that. And then this book has my heart. So this is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I love this book. It's a memoir, my favourite memoir I've read. Just please read this book. I feel like this would be a lovely summer book. It's quite light-hearted, but it also is so quotable. There's so many good lines in this. I really enjoyed. But yeah, I feel like those are like my main summer reads. Also, my favourite summer book, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The perfect beach read with the emotional depth of the ocean. Holly Bruin said it well, because that is so true. It is a perfect beach read set in Malibu. It's so good. So good. I really like it. And it's set in that like 1980s like Hollywood genre that Taylor Jenkins Reid has a few books in. I think The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, and this book are all supposed to be in like a similar time period. And this is a great time to be alive because they're all super rich. They're staying in this like lovely mansion and they're away to host their annual beach party. But it also shows that rich people have problems too, because a lot goes down in this book. So yeah, I would definitely read Malibu Rising if you haven't read it before. I read this in January, not in the summertime, but I feel like this would be a lovely beach read. So yeah, I feel like that's like all my kind of summery recommendations, because I would be reading in summer. I'm sure I'll have more big videos to come, but those are just books I'm loving. I'd say out of this, if you're going to read anything, You and Me on Vacation. If you've already read it, please comment below what your thoughts are, because I don't think anyone loves it as much as I do. Like, I haven't heard people giving this book the credit it deserves. I don't know if I maybe just missed that because it's not that like popular now because everyone's already read it. So like maybe people have been hyping this book up and I've just missed that. But so good. So good. I will definitely be rereading. I feel like you know a book's good when you're gonna like reread it. Like Everything I Know About Love is a definite rereader. Like I will definitely reread this. Probably like most of the books I've spoken about I would easily reread. They're really good. So yeah, that's all my recommendations. If you have any for me, obviously comment. I'm always looking for new books. Thank you for watching. I hope you read some of these books. I hope you like some of them. And yeah, there will be lots of book videos to come.